Hey everyone, welcome back to Encinas Unfiltered. We're informed, unfiltered, and unmatched. At Encinas Unfiltered, you can expect raw takes, real talk, and sports like you haven't heard before. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And as a reminder, we have our membership program. It ends in February, so as soon as the Super Bowl game's played, it is no longer available, but it's going on for right now for a limited time, 99 cents a month. That's access to our Legend tier membership, which allows you to have early access to our episodes, early access to our shorts. You'll be able to get onto our Discord where you can get one-on-one fantasy advice and also all the different things that we have going on in Encinas Unfiltered related. Oh, in addition, you do get discounts on merch. Since we're on the topic of merch, if you're interested in it, I completely rebuilt our website and I'm actually going to show you guys. It's pretty easy to use. I'm really excited about it. You know, I do get it. Some of the boys like Hayden, Angel, and probably Xavier here, they're like, hey, weren't you supposed to, edit the great debate? Yes, I was, but merch is more important. So if you're watching on YouTube or listening on YouTube, you can go ahead and go to our YouTube and you actually see what we have going on here. You can buy it directly from YouTube and our Instagram and our Facebook. But in addition to this is a new and improved Encinas Unfiltered merch website. So this is something that I've been working on over the weekend. It has all of our merch, obviously has new logos and new collections drop. I will be adding it here, but it's easy to use. We got gift cards now, boys, digital gift cards. It's pretty easy to use, pretty simple. I mean, it's not very overly complicated. You got all of our different collections from bestsellers, winners, summer, hats, fantasy football, USA, Mexico inspired, original logo, and everyday essentials. That's right, even the boxers here. But definitely check it out. As a reminder, if you subscribe to our emails, you will get 10% off of your orders. For those of you who are like, well, that's not really a lot. Well, our margins of profit are really low as it is because I'm not trying to overcharge on the merch here for the boys. So if you want to go ahead and enjoy that discount, subscribe to the emails. Starting this week, we're going to do a special event. I'm going to be inputting a code somewhere throughout the episode, and I'm not going to say where it is, so not even Xavier knows where the code is. And the code's going to be a one-time use. And essentially, when you go and check out our merch store, it's a gift card of sorts, but it's going to be a certain dollar amount off your entire order. And I'm going to be running these giveaways until the end of the football season. So think of it as more of like a coupon for the merch store, or you can think of it a giveaway. It's kind of both the same. It's still coming out of my pocket for the boys, but I'm going to be doing that. But it's important because I want you guys to be able to see it on screen. We're not going to announce it. I'm not going to say verbally what the code is going to be. And I'm definitely not going to put it at the beginning of the episode. I'm going to tell you that now. It's definitely going to be in the middle of the end. Like, you guys got to be looking for it. But it's going to be on the screen for about a couple seconds, and that's it. And once the code gets used, it's done until the next episode. So I think it'll be something kind of fun. Really give some of our viewers a chance to get some merch for the free ski. Can't beat that. But you can check the link in the description, or you can go to the merch store directly. We have the new link tagged in our description for YouTube, Instagram, or directly on our website. For an example, I'm going to put a code here that's literally going to just say example, so you can get an idea of what it's going to look like. Now that we're done with merch, this is a reminder to stay tuned for our fantasy football draft episode. This is going to take place in August. This is going to help you with the 2026 fantasy football season. And I kind of said this earlier, but as of today, the Great Debate episode has been filmed. It has been very good. It's on me, and I keep saying it every week. It's on me. I need to edit it. So, I'll take the blame on that. I'm sorry, Hayden. I'm sorry, Xavier. I will get that out. It'll be available only to mute members. So remember that for members, for right now until, I don't know when, maybe after the season is when I'll release it to the public. But if you want to get early access to that video and comment and chat with all of us in a more personal space. In today's episode, we're going to be doing an NFL Wildcard weekend recap, going over some of the games and how they kind of went down. Very good games. I will say that. Probably some of the best playoff football for a wildcard weekend that I've seen in a hot minute. Next, we're going to get into our NFL playoff brackets. And if you're not sure what that is, we're going to pull up a bracket. And we definitely need to re-bracket our brackets because I think we both lost as of last week. Yeah. I know one of them. So we're going to re-bracket those each week until the very end. Then we're going to be doing our divisional round football bets. We're looking at money line, over, under, and spread. And at the very end, we're going to be getting to some hot takes. And obviously, everyone knows those, and we love those very, very much. So let's just get right into the wildcard weekend recap. So the first game of the wildcard weekend definitely did not disappoint. The Rams came back and beat the Panthers 34-31 with a last-minute touchdown and a strong defensive effort to seal the game. The Rams now advanced to the divisional round. And I mean, dude, that was, not just that game, but all the games were really good. Like, that was a good game. But what did we learn? You do not give Matthew Stafford time at the very end of the game because he's going to come back and score on you.
This is the playoff year of comebacks is what this pretty much is.
Yeah, well, maybe not Monday night, but
some
we'll get to it.
Some team had to be the sacrificial lamb.
Oh man, it was Yeah, it was pretty bad. The next game, though, oh man, my wife's gonna she was not too happy with this one. The Bears beat the Packers 31-27 in a game, mind you, where the Green Bay was up by 21 points, or they're up 21-3, excuse me. So Green Bay was up 21-3 heading into halftime. The Bears scored 25 points in the fourth quarter. Now they're heading to the divisional round. That's wild.
I understand, at the time it looked great, but at the end of the day, we all knew how this story was going to end. The Bears were going to win.
I truly thought the Packers could have won, but I think the loss of Micah Parsons really was showing, and their run defense was just not happy. So that was it for the Saturday's games. Great games. Fourth quarter comebacks. Then we had Sunday's games, and I will say I completely missed this game because I slept in. I forgot that it was early, so that's on me. That's my bad. But the Bills, or should I say Josh Allen, beat the Jags 27-24 in a tight back and forth game. The Bills head to the divisional round, and the reason why I say Josh Allen is because if you go look at the stats, I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. I mean, essentially it was Josh Allen. Let's just not beat around the bush here. So, but we'll get into a little bit of what's going on with him later in the hot take section. But I do know that he got a little banged up, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Then, of course, the game I was watching, the 49ers beat the Eagles 23-19 in Philly, mind you, to advance to the divisional round. To me, personally, just watching the game, the highlight of it was Jawan Jennings throwing a touchdown to CMC with a trick play. That's something that they used a few years back in the Super Bowl. So I think a lot of people forget that Jawan Jennings was actually a top 5 rated QB coming out of, high school. And he had some of the guys, he was above Joe Burrow and names like that.
Spiral, that accuracy was perfect. I mean, the accuracy, he kind of did the outside shoulder. He probably should have kept it more inside. But you know what? For the sake of maybe that corner or that safety that would have came by and maybe picked that off, solid.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he was a high school quarterback, so it's not really a surprise. And he was pretty talented, pretty high rated, just considering he was above Joe Burrow on that list. So to me, that was a highlight. Kind of got the offense moving, but we'll see what happens next week. And this next game, I don't think there's any surprises here. I mean, I think people pretty much called this out. Could have seen it a mile away. The Patriots beat the Chargers 16-3, and probably, I thought, at the time it was the worst playoff game of the week. The Chargers injuries honestly kind of caught up to them. Joe Alt was out. Omarion Hampton only had 1 carry. And the leading rusher was Justin Herbert, which is ridiculous. Your quarterback, if he's not a running quarterback, shouldn't be your leading rusher.
So bad.
But the Patriots move on to the divisional round, and I don't think anybody's really surprised about that.
You know what, though? Besides Seattle, all of these offensive coordinators, and I guess the Colts, all of these offensive coordinators that aren't running the ball as they should are all getting fired, as they should be. So I'm honestly super happy to see that, because they all needed to lose their jobs 100%.
Well, the thing we've been talking about for weeks is that if you feed your running backs and you make
win.
that defense a lot right, they get tired, and eventually when it comes to third, fourth quarter, it kind of, it's just more of an old school thought, I think, of that.
It's an old school thought
least.
that is still viable. That's
definitely
the thing.
Definitely. So next, we're going to go into Monday's game, which honestly, I thought it was going to be a lot lower scoring. I mean, honestly, it probably should have been minus, a couple things. We'll get into it. So the Texans beat the Steelers 30-6, but honestly, that doesn't really tell the whole tale of the game.
No.
It was most likely Aaron Rodgers' last game in the NFL. In my opinion, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think anybody is going to really debate that.
Yeah.
He could have not played for the last 3 years, right? Lost the 3 worst years of his career and probably would have still been a first ballot Hall of Famer. But CJ Stroud did have 3 turnovers in the game, and he's definitely going to need to play better next week because he's going to be playing New England. But I will say,
if I do know right, Nico Collins went out with a concussion too.
Right. So that offense is
the case.
Hurting. Right.
I mean, we knew at the end of the day anyways that Houston and the Jags weren't going to go far. We knew that they were there, but we knew they weren't going to go far. So,
well, there's people who are saying that they think Houston's going to go to the Super Bowl, and I tried to bet them a work lunch bet. I know. That's what I'm saying.
Bro, that is just as delusional, and I'll finally admit it, that's just as delusional as me saying Bijan Robinson's a bad running back.
The Texans defense won them a game. They had 2 touchdowns at the very end. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They didn't really tell the whole tale.
What do you do? What do you expect?
Right. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but the Texans defense is great, but their offense is not looking good. And I think there's a statistic where it's like the 2 Super Bowl teams have always been somebody who either has a great defense and an okay offense, or a great offense and an okay defense, and likewise on the other side. So I think the only teams that kind of fit that bill right now is like Seattle, Los Angeles, and Patriots, and maybe Denver on a good day. I think I guess the Bills might be able to fit it too, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
One offensive player. That's it.
I mean, James Cooks can get going sometimes. Just depends on if they feed him or not.
Yeah. That's fair.
But the receivers are pretty suspect, I will say, especially with Gabriel Davis being out. All right, next we're going to get into some coaching changes updates. So, Xavier, you want to go ahead and let the people know what has happened recently?
Yeah. So, the big one, the one that I'm sure everybody knows about, Mike Tomlin steps down. Note that. Steps down. After 19 seasons, his record was 193 wins, 114 losses, and 2 ties. In the postseason, he was 8-12 and 1 Super Bowl win.
Hey, matters.
Going on to that, the reason why I emphasize he stepped down is that doesn't mean he was fired. He signed a 3-year extension with the team, and that means that they own the rights to his NFL contract, so to speak, until the end of 2027. So, for those of you that are freaking out and thinking, for the delusional Browns fans out there, you're not going to get Mike Tomlin because you would have to trade for him.
Right. It'd be a Sean Payton
just
situation.
Like a player. He's not a free agent. The Steelers own the rights.
Right.
So
just like Sean Payton with the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, exactly.
He went for a first, so I'd expect Mike Tomlin to go for a first. That would be my guess.
Oh,
my educated guess. Right.
100%. If that is the case, from my understanding, the reports are that Tomlin is going to be an announcer on CBS or Fox for that time being. That's interesting. That's what my insider sources are saying.
Interesting. That's an interesting
route
one.
He's going to probably go. So just for everybody to understand that's how that situation works.
Interesting.
Next, we're going into the Chargers. The Chargers fired their offensive coordinator, Greg Roman, after 2 seasons. And the Eagles fired their offensive coordinator, Kevin Patullo, after 1 season. And
he was pretty bad, not gonna lie.
Yeah, there's crazy stuff looking at Jalen Hurts' stats. I came across a little thing saying that Jalen Hurts, that dude has had so many offense coordinators. Like
the last couple of years.
Ridiculous amount. And as far as the coaching goes, believe it or not, I happened to stumble across a little chart. I'm not going to take the credit for it, but I will for the sake of it. Came across a little chart that talks about scheduled interviews with coaches by teams. So just as a quick reminder, the teams right now that are looking for head coaches are the Titans, the Giants, the Falcons, the Browns, the Raiders, the Cardinals, the Ravens, and the Dolphins. Those are all the teams. Obviously, Steelers are now in there. This chart was obviously created before that. But those are all the teams that are needed of a head coach. And one, because John Harbaugh hasn't officially announced, the only one interview that he has is with the Falcons, but we all know how that is right. He's going to get every interview possible. He's just deciding it himself. But the one other guy that has the most requested is a guy named Jesse Minter.
Oh, from Chargers.
From the Chargers.
Yeah.
So he actually has 8 requested interviews, where the next guy is actually Chris Shula, who has 6. Then Kevin Stefanski, Clint Kubiak, and Vance Joseph. goes, and then, it goes from 5 to 4 to 3 and so on and so forth.
Bro, they're sleeping on my boys, Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett, dude. That's all I'm saying. They're sleeping on those old school coaches.
Jason Garrett has one interview, and that's with the Titans. And Mike McCarthy has 2 with the Titans and the Giants. So
2 young squads right there.
So
interesting.
We're a little interested to see how that's going to go. Obviously, for those of you that don't know, if teams are still in playoffs, nobody can interview while the team is in playoffs. So,
Correct.
For example, one of the leads is that the Titans have been in contact with the 49ers for Saleh as a head coach candidate. The Titans cannot interview him until the 49ers get knocked out of the playoffs, or obviously if they go to the Super Bowl, then from there. So a lot of these offense coordinators, defense coordinators that are on these teams that are still in playoffs, they can be reached out to, but they can't schedule an interview or anything like that due to NFL policies and procedures. So as far as it all goes for coaching, that is what we are looking at.
Next, we're going to get into our NFL playoff brackets. So last week, I think each of us had a team that made it that we didn't think was going to. I believe Xavier had the Niners losing. I think I did too. And then Xavier picked the Steelers to beat the Texans.
Yeah,
and I picked the Jaguars to pick. Yeah, and I picked the Jaguars to beat the Bills. So either way, just like last week, we're going to predict, through the Super Bowl. So
Xavier,
I'll let you go first. Go ahead and let me know what you think. Seahawks or Niners? I already think I know who you're going to pick.
Yeah,
so
Seahawks.
Okay. And then what about
Bears and Rams? My head tells me the Bears, but my heart is telling me the Rams. But I'm going to go, you know what, boys? As they always say, you got to follow your heart. So we're going with the Rams.
All right. And the AFC, we got Bills or Denver.
Man, you're already over the Bills because I really want the Bills too. But
I was just
no, I know.
there. Yeah,
I was just thinking about it. But with all the injuries and everything, man, probably going to be Denver. I really hope it's not. But
are you going Denver?
Yeah, I'll go Denver.
Okay. What about Patriots and Houston?
Obviously, Patriots.
Okay. Rams at Seattle, and we got Patriots at Denver. Who do you like in the NFC?
Seattle.
Okay. Who do you like in the AFC? Patriots. Or Broncos?
It's all playing out as your boy foretold.
How do you see the Super Bowl going?
You know who's going to win it. Yep.
Okay, so you still think Seahawks win it. Okay. Interesting. That is interesting
as a
bracket.
Disclaimer, I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots won it either. Those two great teams. I would be genuinely surprised if they both don't make it.
Okay. Well, for me, I'm gonna do 2. Okay, I'm gonna do one that's what my head says, and I'm gonna do one that my heart says, and it's for content. And I'm gonna leave the content part in there because I'm gonna just be real with you. Okay. So my head says Seattle. Okay. That's just, I would say if Fred Warner were to be playing, which sounds like he's not, it would be next week. I would feel a little bit more comfortable with it.
There is a report that he is practicing.
Yeah, his window's open, but it sounds like that they want to use him for the next game, which I personally don't like, especially with George Kittle being out now. Their best blocker besides Trent Williams. I think Rams win this game, no problem. I don't see the Rams losing to the Bears. The Bears defense is pretty suspect, and Caleb's been hit or miss. I think the Rams will be okay. They have a way better defense than Green Bay does right now.
But the Rams defense is also horrific.
They can be. Well, their line is great, though. I think they can put pressure on Caleb. I think their corners and are a little more suspect, in my opinion.
Chicago
Broncos and the Bills.
Is a fourth quarter team, though. So
they are, but I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay.
All right.
If the Niners defense was able to hold them and win, I think the Rams are, in my opinion, probably still better than them, and they're more healthy.
Right.
So when it comes to the AFC, so we got Broncos, Bills. I'm gonna go Bills. So originally I didn't think so, but the reason why is because Denver has a very easy schedule this past year. It was pretty easy. I think their strongest team they played was like the Patriots and maybe Houston, if I
And even the
recall.
Patriots had a really easy schedule.
Yeah.
Houston had a pretty good schedule, but
But
not as easy as those.
even though their defense is very good, it's hard to go against Josh Allen. We'll talk about some of his injuries in a little bit, but I think this is where he's not going to choke here. I don't think this is where he chokes. I think he can get it done. I think Denver's a great defense. But like Xavier already said, it's not Houston. So I think he can get one more in there before it kind of starts dwindling, because they did lose Gabe Davis.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. The next game, we got Patriots in Houston. I like Patriots in this game, and it's honestly solely on not just the fact that Nico was there. I don't think that's going to change it or not, but Nico's out with a concussion. I mean, that's going to hurt them. Their offense didn't look good against the Steelers, which is, I mean, their defense has been kind of banged up all year in general. They're not what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they're not the defense of old where it's like terrifying. TJ Watt played, but he can only do so much.
Yeah.
And I think
Patriots
that just
defense
because
right now is flying around.
Yeah,
those boys
they're pretty good. Vrabel did a very good job, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But if you notice here, it's going to be a divisional matchup for both championship games for the Super Bowl. So going to the NFC. So if this is the way it plays out, I like Los Angeles. It's nothing against Seattle. I think Seattle is a great team. They have they actually have the top defense. If you want to go look at it statistically in the NFL, it's actually Seattle. But Sam Darnold is my question. What Sam Darnold are we going to get? And that's my risk. Is they didn't look too good against the Niners in week 18. Like, their offense put up 13 points against an absolutely horrendous defense. So that's pretty suspect in my opinion. Their defense did great. Don't get me wrong, but you're going to have to do more than that to beat the Rams. It's just, they have the best offense in the NFL. So I like the Rams there. And the Bills and Patriots are an interesting game. I mean, you have a divisional game here as well. Josh Allen, right? He's a big factor, but Josh Allen always has a hard time on the road. Last week was the first time that he's won on the road in the playoffs in his entire career. So that's something to note. So even though that streak is broken, I think, like I said, I think the last week before that, they can beat Denver again on the road just because it's a weaker team, not a good offense, a better defense. But when it comes to the Patriots, I think the Patriots are just better on both sides of the ball. And I think that's going to be the biggest difference maker, is that defense. And then probably having a QB spy on Josh Allen to kind of stabilize them. And as long as they can stop James Cooks, I don't think they're going to have any issues. So because of that, I'm going Patriots here. So I think you and I are on the same page here, where we think Patriots going to the Super Bowl for sure for the AFC. And originally that wasn't my first thoughts like so many weeks ago, but I think now, just with the way they're playing, that is the case. So for me, it's Rams versus Patriots in the Super Bowl in Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. I got the Rams winning the Super Bowl. And I'll be honest with you here. I don't think it matters if it's Seattle. I don't think it matters if it's LA. We said this last week too. I think for sure an NFC team is going to win this year, regardless. It doesn't matter what team goes, just because I think that's how good the NFC West is right now. So I think it's a interesting matchup, but I like LA to win it all for sure.
That's fair.
All right. My last one. I'm sorry. I have to do for content. Okay. Let me get my hat on real quick. Okay. All right. In a world, dark horse, whatever you want to call it. You know, we all picked the Jags last week, and I was delusional. I'm going to be delusional again. Mind you, I'm going to be still negative about the Niners. In a world where the Niners should somehow figure it out, okay? They figure it out. I don't know how. It's less than a 1% chance. They figure it out. They beat Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold chokes. Has the worst game of his career. He does a Minnesota nightmare all over again. Okay? I'm just going to say what I have it last time. We're gonna keep it the same here. Okay, I'm just trying to speed this up here. We got the Rams and we got Niners. Okay, I already know who's gonna win that game. We got Rams and Niners. The Niners have been known historically and this year to beat the Rams at home. There's a reason why they call it Levy South. I think we could potentially see the Super Bowl matchup happening, and the reason why is if they can somehow beat Seattle, which I don't think happens, but if they do, Fred Warner should no problem be back for the Rams game, and I think that makes a big difference. I think they're going to slot Eric Kendricks over to the OLB slot, kind of what Greenlaw was when Greenlaw was still with us last year. And I think things get really interesting for that defense, because really that defense is what's most suspect to me, not really that offense. I think with the offense, they still figure it out regardless who's on the field. But I think if they play the Patriots. I truly, honestly, in my heart of hearts, and this is not even me being delusional or doing it for content, I think an NFC West team will win the Super Bowl, in my personal opinion. I don't think the Patriots are good enough.
Yeah.
I think they're young. I think they're good. And I think I don't know if we're going to say dynasty quite yet, but they're going to be very good as long as they can keep Drake May and as long as Coach Mike Vrabel's there with them. But I just don't think this year's their year, personally.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Do you have any dark horse picks, or is it mostly just Patriots?
Yeah, if it's going to be anybody, it would be Patriots.
Okay.
If anybody.
So you're looking more at like, you're looking at more like this. Oh no, you went this, and you say maybe that.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But I do agree with your take that that NFC West team will win it. They're the better teams. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I think it's nothing against the AFC. I just think that that AFC is strong in their defense,
just
but
what it is.
It's yeah, and I think unfortunately just the offense is just booming on the other side right now. So next we're going to get into our NFL divisional round football bets. So we're looking at the money line, over, under, and spread. So the first game we had the Buffalo Bills at Denver Broncos. The Broncos are favored by 1.5 points. The total's 46.5 points. It's a little high. I think it's going to go under because the Broncos have a good defense and an okay offense. Personally, I'm taking Bills at plus 1.5. Xavier?
I'm gonna go the Broncos. Oh, that total.
Yeah, that's why I went under. It's high.
I'm actually gonna go over.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, just because Josh Allen just kind of makes it happen, man.
Okay.
And I feel the Bills defense kind of sucks. So
their corners are good. So their pass defense is great. Their rushing defense is trash. You can run the ball on them. So it'll be interesting to see.
I think too that Denver's defense is going to capitalize on a lot of Josh Allen's like reckless throws. And I think I believe that there will be a pick six in this game.
Oh, wow.
No doubt.
So if you're still in the States
on a pick six, bet it.
So if you're in a free state, it's not California where you can bet, then go ahead and do that and let us know how that goes out. That's Xavier's first big prediction, I would say.
Oh yeah.
For that. Next we got San Francisco at Seattle. Seattle's favored at -7.5. Personally for me, I'm taking plus 7.5 only because I think that's a big spread for a game that's going to be very close in my opinion, regardless. That doesn't mean San Francisco wins. That just means the spread is going to cover. So I don't think Seattle beats San Francisco by more than a touchdown. The total's 45.5. I'm going to go under only because we saw what happened the last time they played. And I believe the score was like 13-6 or 3 or whatever it was, something like that. It was pretty low. So I'm going to go under on that. Xavier?
Yeah, it is still a divisional game. So I definitely agree with the under, and we're going to go Seattle. Definitely not at that 7-5 though. 7.5.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so just for clarification, the Seattle Seahawks beat the Niners 13-3. So it's pretty close.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, it was pretty close. So I'm definitely taking the under on that.
I would be really surprised if I see 20 points on any one of these teams. Right.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. All right, next we're going to get into Sunday's matchup. So we're looking at the Houston Texans at New England. New England's favored by 3 points. The total's 40.5.
That's good.
So this one's hard because I almost want to go over because it's a little lower on the total, but I'm not. I'm going to go under because Texans do have a good defense, but I just think their offense is too suspect with the injury to Nico Collins. They're going to be trying to run the ball on the Patriots, and the Patriots are very good at that. I do believe the New England Patriots at -3 will cover. I would do the alternate spread at -2.5 just in case it is a field goal for whatever reason, but the total will be under just because I think Houston's strong defense will keep the score low, but I don't think Houston's going to be able to score because of their suspect offense.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. I agree with that.
Cool. Next, we got the Rams. Yeah, thanks. Next, we got the Rams. They're favored by 3.5 versus Chicago. Chicago's playing at home. The total's 50.5. Man, you might say, oh, that's a little high. No, I'm taking the over on that. Both of these defenses can be
What?
suspect. Yeah, dude.
Okay. Yeah. That's
the Niners put up 30-something
right.
points on them, and the Bears put up 30-something points on them. So the Rams' biggest issues is their corners. So I think the Bears are going to air it out. And just like Los Angeles, they're going to air it out as well, and they're going to run the ball. They have the best offense in the NFL, in my opinion. So I think it'll be good.
Devontae's playing, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. He played last week.
Oh, man.
And Puka. And Kyron. I don't know about Corn, but I wouldn't take -3.5. I'd probably do the -2.5. I just don't like those numbers right there. I always like to do the -2.5. So if they win by 3, then you're kind of covered there. But I think the Rams win this. Xavier?
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Next, we're going to get into our hot takes. And as always, X, you have the floor first. Go ahead and then start off and let us know what you got.
All right. So my first one is, do you think Harbaugh is the best coach available?
Available is a loose word. Is he the best coach? Is he the best coach possibly that can be got? No, I would consider Mike Tomlin personally, based on record and Super Bowl. But if we're not going to consider Mike Tomlin, then yes. Currently, yes.
All right.
What do you think?
I think he is. I think he's the best because he has the best pedigree, so to speak. Mike Tomlin only has one more year on him. They both have the same amount of Super Bowl wins. So really playoff record doesn't really matter too much. In my opinion, in that aspect. But I mean, I don't think you would be wrong to take either. But the one thing that sets Harbaugh above Tomlin right now is that you don't have to pay for Harbaugh. You just have to pay a salary. Where Tomlin,
that's fair.
You're gonna have to pay a first round pick, like for sure. So that's
I think
the only thing that sets him above.
Yeah, I think it depends because if you look at him, it's like, is he worth the first round pick? And obviously the Broncos did think Sean Payton was, so they did it. But also it's, Mike Tomlin's not very old. I can actually look it up for you and see how old he is. But John Harbaugh's pretty old.
Even with that, when it comes to coaching, age matters not.
But he's only 53, bro. Well, it does, because if you got guys like Bill Belichick.
A lot of other teams don't really keep coaches very long. Like right now, the most tenured, it was Tomlin, is now Andy Reid.
Andy Reid,
13 years with KC.
But there is a 10-year age difference there. And so if you want to coach, like you're going to go for him for the long haul, Mike Tomlin is an attractive option. But obviously, is that first rounder worth it? And you talked about he might do commentary, so maybe you just wait and play it out. But we'll see. There's a team like the Jets who have a lot of picks. They might consider giving up on one if there's a player not available for him and just trade up for Mike Tomlin. So
that's a good little thought right there. I
wouldn't be surprised. I think they have 3 firsts this year and 3 firsts next year. So
yeah,
they might flip it next year's pick.
Interesting.
A late pick.
Interesting.
Yeah, you like where my head's at, huh?
Yeah, I actually
not good for him as a coach. The Jets is where people could have died. But
as a wheel and deal guy, I really like that.
That's a Madden trade right there. I think that takes.
That is, and I'm all for it, dude. I'm all for it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So my next one is, which coach besides Harbaugh should be highly sought after?
Well, you said it was the guy for the Chargers, but for me, honestly, like if I want to be real with you, it's probably going to be Saleh. And that hurts as a Niners fan because I really don't want that to happen. I think he's a better defensive coordinator, just like Mike McDaniel's now interviewing for offensive coordinator spots. Makes sense. So
he's as of right now, he only has one offensive coordinator interview lined up. All the rest of them are head coach jobs.
Coaches, yeah. But I do think in general he's a better offensive coordinator than he is a coach. So, and whereas with Saleh, I think we saw that that was kind of a tongue twister. We did see him as the head coach, and it didn't really work out. Obviously, it was with not a good organization, But I mean, you even have guys like D'Amico Ryans, who's a great defensive mind for San Francisco, where his team is still struggling on offense, and they're not going to win until they figure out what's going on offense. Unless you get a really good offensive coordinator, right? Like a Ben Johnson type, are you really going to go anywhere? And technically Ben Johnson's didn't even win. So those are just some things to think about. And also me putting out to the universe that we don't get rid of them. So who do you think is better or the next sought out coach?
I would actually say Mike McDaniels, because if you want to use the argument of, he's probably a better offense coordinator, I would say that argument against Saleh. I would say he's probably a better defense coordinator than he is a head coach. Saleh's always struck me as kind of a cheerleader, rah type coach, rather than an actual head coach, stern, type of feel, where that's where I feel like kind of head coaches are. But, that might be just an old school type of thinking. But regardless, I think for a lot of these teams, like Mike McDaniel would be good with a team that has a younger quarterback. So like the Titans, the Giants, even Cleveland. I think he would be good since he's more of an offensive mind.
I think it depends who the coach
my
is.
thought process.
Yeah, I think he has to go with fit. Like, I think he's interviewing for the Lions, right, for their OC position. That makes a lot of sense. And if you want to go out and win the Super Bowl and maybe have a better position to go be a coach, he's young. He's like in his early 40s.
I think he's doing that Lions interview as a fallback, just in case his head coach job doesn't pan out.
I see. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great salary-wise to be a head coach, but sometimes I think being in the right position matters. So I think that'd be my only thing for him is that, even with Robert Saleh, do I think he can be a head coach one day? Absolutely. But I think at the same time, it has to make sense for him to go out and do it. Like if a Tampa Bay slot opened up, that would make a lot of sense. A team that has good young pieces. But I don't know if the Jets, the Browns, the Titans right now doesn't make a lot of sense for him. There's going to be a very quick chopping block, in my opinion. So that's what I think some coaches need to think about as well.
So my next one is, do you think anyone is willing to trade for Tomlin? And if so, who?
Ooh, well, I kind of already threw that out. That's my bad. I didn't even see that question, but I kind of said earlier that I think the Jets make a lot of sense. I don't think it's great for Tomlin's career, but I think as far as like need, they have 6 first-round picks in the next 2 years. You can probably flip a next year's draft pick if you want to, or maybe this year, depending on who's available. There's not a guy that you want, with your 3rd first-round pick, trade it for Tomlin. Pittsburgh's not going to say no if they go grab another coach. Why would they? For them, it's a first-round pick. Now you have a great coach who can, or not even can, he has proven that he can be a coach that the players play for and teams or players want to be there. I mean, minus George Pickens, but George Pickens didn't really have a problem with Mike Tomlin, from my understanding. Yeah. So that's kind of just something to think about. I think another team that makes a lot of sense, it would be Cleveland, but I don't know if that's something maybe that he would even want to do. I think for him, though, it's like, I think it's a team that's going to be a contender that might want to trade for him, but I don't see any way in hell that the Ravens get that from the Steelers. I think it would have to be an NFC team. I don't think the Steelers would be willing to trade him to a different or to another rival in the AFC. So I would take out the Browns. I would take out the Ravens. And NFC teams, I'm trying to think who has head coaching positions. I mean, Atlanta would make a lot of sense. Cardinals would make a lot of sense. I'm trying to think who else has an open spot right now. It's mostly AFC, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, Giants would make a lot of sense.
Giants, Cardinals. Yeah, that's it.
That's all for the NFC?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, unfortunately, I think that would be the two where if they were interested, or maybe they asked for a second, dude. And they're just like, hey, we're just trying to get him off. And if they don't want to trade him to AFC, they're like, hey, we don't want that to have, bite us back in the butt. Hey, for a second, for a 2, who knows? But that's my thought. Right. I think it'd be an AFC team. You think they'll trade him to somebody in the AFC?
I think honestly, yeah, if the price is right. I mean, because realistically, if you want to look at this from a business standpoint, realistically, if I'm every other team, I'm just going to wait. Like, I'm going to wait 2 years, wait for that contract to end, and then I'll just grab him if I really need to. But
that's fair.
For the Steelers, you know, I'm pretty sure they're not getting a lot of options or a lot of bites on it, to be honest. Yeah, teams might want Tomlin, but I don't know. Because, I mean, like you said, the Steelers could also be like, no, we're not going to give him to any AFC team. So
it leaves 2.
I don't know.
Then we have this conversation next year. It's like, hey,
no,
he's got 1 more year left. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, in all honesty, I don't think any team takes him.
Interesting.
So, I think he would be highly sought after if he was a free agent, but he's not. So, that's the only thing that kind of puts him down.
Another option could be that they just decide to cut him and pay his salary and just say, you do you. That might need,
it's kind of nice to have that leverage, and
that's fair.
Kind of also a giant middle finger to him at the end of the day.
Well, that's fair.
So my next question is, will AJ Brown get traded? And if so, who needs him and would want him?
Ooh. I mean, will he get traded? I don't know. Should he get traded? I mean, I'll say it like this. I think he wants to be traded. He's been frustrated for the last couple of years, and I don't blame him. You have a new offensive coordinator every year. He's not getting the ball. He had a very up and down fantasy season this year in general, which is just relative to stats. So it's hard for him. Receivers have big egos, and ego's not a bad thing. It's just, they think they're the best player on the field, and prime AJ Brown is a top 5 receiver, but you got to get him the ball.
Right.
But I think also a team that might be willing to trade for him, or what his price might be, like for the Eagles to get rid of him, he might not go to a good team. So then you're going to have like a DK Metcalf position where you now don't have a quarterback and you're a number 1 receiver on the team where good luck. I mean, he didn't play very well this year either, just using DK as an example. Who would want him? I mean, I think everyone would want him, but it'd probably have to make sense. If Eagles are asking for a first, there's no way people are going to want to trade for him. I think if Eagles ask for like a second and a third, that might make sense. The Niners can use him. They need a number 1 guy. Seattle can use a good number 2 next to JSN. Cardinals can use them. I'm just trying to think of all the teams. I mean, I don't know what team in the NFL wouldn't want him or could use him right now, if that makes sense, while he's still somewhat in his prime.
Right. To be honest, I don't think he does get traded. So the Eagles GM made a comment that you're not going to trade away a good player. Like, you're just not going to. There's a reason why he traded for him in the first place. And so with that, I mean, the price would have to be good, to be honest. And I think you're kind of right to the point of like, who would want him? Yeah, probably everybody. I think what would be really cool is in one scenario, he goes back to the Titans. I think that would be kind of cool. Help develop Cam Ward a little bit. But realistically, I don't see the Titans paying a steep price for him. They're still in the middle of a rebuild, so it makes no sense. Another scenario would be him going to the Bills. That would be pretty cool. See a little Josh Allen, AJ Brown action. Give them finally a true number 1 receiver. Or the last option, them going to the Chiefs and having AJ Brown and a Patrick Mahomes type situation. I think that would open up the playbook too for a lot of things. So those would be my 3 kind of scenarios that I think would be cool to see.
Well, he's only 28 years old, so that's pretty wild to think. He'll be 29 when the new season starts. So he's still in his prime.
Once you start to get close to that 30,
well, unless your name's Jerry Rice or maybe Terrell Owens.
Yeah. So my next question is, what player do you think will / should go into free agency?
I guess if we're going to say like who should go to a different team that's currently a free agent rather than re-sign with their team that they are playing on today.
Right.
Great. Okay. Just for clarification. So, I would have said Daniel Jones before the injury, but I think right now he's kind of just in a pickle as far as like best available, honestly, like the best available would be Mike Evans, but Mike Evans is most likely going to re-sign. So I don't think we're going to go anywhere there. If we're going to look at all positions, let me go based on okay. So to answer your question, sorry, I had to pull up a list here because there's a lot of good free agents. Travis Kelce's available, but he's pretty old now. He's 36, so I don't know. I think he retires. I think we probably saw his last. If this wasn't this year, this is last year, maybe one more year. To me, it'd be Trey Hendrickson, man. Trey Hendrickson has been fighting back and forth on a franchise tag with the Bengals. He was hurt this year. He's 31, but he's probably the best edge rusher in the NFL, and that's saying something. Whoever's not named Myles Garrett, right, when healthy.
Right.
So I don't think the Bengals are doing him any favors right now. I mean, there's already rumors that Joe Burrow doesn't want to be there, which is surprising because he has Jamar Chase. Yeah. So I think Trey Hendrickson getting paid what he's owed on a good playoff contender would make a lot of sense, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Who do you think should switch teams?
I actually think so. I have two. I have actually Khalil Mack.
Ooh, that's a good one.
He should go in to free agency. And yeah, he is a little older. Both of mine are in their 30s. But Khalil Mack still has good enough to play and will help any team, really, that you put him on. And my other one is actually Joey Bosa.
Ooh, he did good this year. I'll give him that.
Oh,
he had a year, dude.
So
yeah.
if I'm pretty much any of these playoff teams right now, which a lot of them need defensive help, I would be looking at them. Even though they're older, you already have the team to make the Super Bowl. Now you just need the solidifying over the hump kind of help. And I think that Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa can both do that.
Like on the same team, or you think just in general?
I think in general, and you probably won't have to pay them very much because they are older. So
right.
I'm thinking kind of short term when in my thought process.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been rumors of Joey Bosa going to the Niners. I mean, he was really talking about it beforehand with Nick. So I think that would be an interesting situation where they both are playing edge because the Niners currently don't have, they have Mikael Williams, but Mikael Williams is hurt. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
So then my next question is, which playoff team do you believe doesn't belong?
Let's look at the list, man. We gotta pull up the list and look. Man, honestly, like you're probably gonna say Niners. To me, it's probably the Broncos. Well, no, honestly, I think it's probably Houston at this point. And I'd say the only reason why it's Houston is because their offense is just so bad, dude. Like they don't have any of their number one guys. It's all rookies.
Yeah.
CJ's not playing good. Their defense is great. I think if you put, a Rams offense with a Texas defense, you're not beating them for years, right? And obviously that's never going to happen, but I think unfortunately it's Houston. Yeah.
I agree for the sake of not agreeing so that we can have like two different opinions here.
Sorry, I didn't take it.
Actually, no. You're good. You thought it was going to be the Niners for me.
Yeah, at first, yeah. I mean,
it was actually Houston, but the other one, and I hate to say it, I think it's the Bills.
Really, the Bills?
I really don't think they belong there, dude.
Wow.
Their offense is literally like two players. Their defense, like I don't like their defense like at all, dude. Their defense is so middle of the pack in a lot of categories. I don't understand like how they're doing it. And I think in all honesty, I think it's just because Buffalo's offense holds onto the ball for so long that it band-aids their defensive like problems. And the reason why they can never make that final push is because you're going against more teams that are more well-rounded to where that Band-Aid can no longer hold against these teams that are doing the same exact thing as you or just scoring quicker because their offense is just better.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the Bills, when I looked at them, like their pass defense is good, but their rush defense is bad, and I think that's what makes them very exposable to something like NFC West, right? That's why I think the NFC West is going to win, because they all have good running games. Denver's is okay; they have a rookie, but yeah, that's interesting. Honestly, I swear, like I thought you were going to say the Niners, because I mean, let's think about it though. That's a very realistic take, because they're on their 5th and 6th linebacker at this point. Pulled Eric Kendrick from his home off the couch, pulling all these guys that aren't starters. But yeah, interesting. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that at all. So next we're getting to my hot take. So the first question I got for you is, where do you think John Harbaugh is going to end up, or which team do you think is the best possible spot for him? Mind you, he's 63 years old at this point. He's not getting any younger.
So apparently from my understanding that he's doing is he's shortening his list. So he's not interviewing with every single team. I think, in my opinion, he's going to probably break it down to 3 teams. He already agreed that he was going to interview with Atlanta. I'm pretty sure the next team he's going to interview with is probably going to be the Giants.
Okay.
And the last team, as of right now, I'm not sure who that last team is going to be. Now, this is purely based off of everybody else's guesses, which are obviously as good as mine. But they're saying that the number 3 team will probably be the Titans.
Interesting.
I think, in my opinion, I think he ends up, I kind of want to say he ends up going with Atlanta, to be honest, because he already scheduled an interview with them, which in my opinion means that he already likes that team a lot more. He's been in extensive phone call talks with the Raiders, the Browns, those kind of little outside ones as well. So it's not like he doesn't have contact with all these other teams, but he's already setting up that interview with the Falcons. So to me, that shows that team is actually the number 1 on his list. And I'm pretty sure the number 2 would be the Giants. However, my concern with the Giants are their injuries, because Scatterbo's coming off of an ACL. Jackson Dart already said he's not going to change his play style, which he already gets a concussion every single game. So Neighbors is coming off of an ACL. So with all of that, I mean, you're really taking a chance of going into a good team, but a very injured team. And then obviously at number 3 with the Titans, I would say you're coming into a good long-term situation. Short-term, no. And you are also wondering about the front office, because you've seen the Titans not get the results they want in 2 seasons, and they're already cutting their coaches. So that's a bad look. And I wouldn't feel very safe in job security going there if that's what they do.
Interesting. Yeah, I agree.
Those would be the 3 teams.
Okay, yeah, I agree with your 3 teams just based on what you're sharing with me, because I've heard those 2. To me, even though I like Atlanta, I think Bijan is obviously in Drake London, and it's just the quarterback play that's going to have me very skeptical about who's going to be the guy, because Michael Penix did not look good. Is that just because there needs to be a change in offensive coordinator? We don't know that. I think personally for me, it's the Giants. I think they look the best if I had to look on paper as far as players wise. And we can maybe write that up to offensive scheme. We can maybe write that up to Daboll. I mean, Daboll was over there in the medical tent doing things he wasn't supposed to be doing because he was worried about his job. Yeah. So a lot of those things kind of maybe with a little bit more, I don't want to be mean, but John Harbaugh is a respected coach. I don't think anyone's going to fight me on that take. Yeah. And I think having a respected coach like that in the locker room might change a lot of things. But I think talent level, both on both sides of the ball, that's what makes me think it'd be attractive for any kind of bigger head coach wanting to go there, because they can be good fast. But Atlanta, is probably a more winnable division, because that division is pretty bad. So, yeah. Next, I got for you: does or should Matt Lafleur get fired? And my second part of that question is, Brandon McManus is gone, right? after what happened this week? And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, okay. So yeah, I mean, so do you think Matt LaFleur gets fired? We'll say the first part of that question.
I'm gonna say no,
Okay.
because Matt LaFleur brought, fans are very quick to jump the gun on things, which is why, we thank the NFL gods that, fans don't make coaching decisions at all. Because before Green Bay got LaFleur, they were trash, like absolute trash. And they seem to forget that. And now that they're winning, they seem to think that, we should be winning in playoffs and this and that. You should be happy you're even getting there, which is something that the Steelers are now going to learn, which I get it. You need to start making that production to get those playoff wins, but Matt LaFleur has done that. And nonetheless, too, Matt LaFleur is a very good offensive mind. So in my opinion, because Matt LaFleur was actually the Titans offensive coordinator for a time, especially when Derrick Henry got his 2,000-yard season, and actually when the Titans were 9-8 and made it to the championship game, to the AFC championship game, when they were upsetting everybody in the playoffs. That Matt LaFleur is probably helping that Green Bay offense more than it actually is. Because I think that if you put another coach in there, that offense probably is not as optimal, and you're probably looking at a 6-win game or winning season, like 6 games, 1 season.
So second, sorry, go ahead.
You know what? For the sake, I don't think they do. In all honesty, for the sake of the Titans, yes, I hope they do, and I hope we hire him.
And what about Brandon McManus? Do you think he's done?
Yeah.
Okay. So, should Matt LaFleur get fired? Yes. I believe he's a great offensive head coach. He can be. However, he's very predictable. I can go look at someone who's, I wouldn't say I'm an expert. Yeah, I play a little bit of football. Yeah, I know football pretty well, but I can tell you when they're running the ball. I know when they go Green Bay 42 or Green 42 that they're going to run the ball up the middle with Josh Jacobs, and so does everybody else. He's very predictable at this point, and I think it's unfortunate for him. But I think if they can go get a free agent, or you mean somebody who might be available, like a bigger name, it would make a lot of sense. Not Mike McCarthy, not Jason Garrett, but I'm talking about John Harbaugh. I'm talking about maybe Mike Tomlin. I think there's a few coaches on that list, or maybe a Robert Saleh, right? Somebody where it's a big name, very sought out. Right. That's the only reason why you would do it. If not, you're going to keep him there, but maybe you should consider getting a different offensive coordinator who's actually calling the plays. Because unfortunately, I think Matt LaFleur is just becoming a little bit more predictable, and Kyle Shanahan was having that same issue as well. Like last year, for example, Brandon McManus. Yeah, I think you're done. I mean, I think he's a great kicker, but unfortunately, you can't miss kicks in games like that. And kickers are a dime a dozen, but you can definitely go to college or pick one up at a soccer field and train them, and there they are, aka Brandon Aubrey. So. That's all I got to say about that. So, okay, this next question is going to be pretty multi-parted. I don't want to get too heavy into it, but just very quickly, some of the things you can think of off the top of your head. So I want to look at these eliminated teams, okay? So this past week, they're eliminated. If you had to evaluate what they need to do in the offseason next year, what do you think they need to do? I'm going to list some of them off. You're going to go Panthers, Packers, Jaguars, Eagles, Chargers, and Steelers.
So for the Panthers need a defensive secondary. Packers need healthy wide receivers. Jaguars need essentially, to me, in my belief, they need a steady running back. ETN picked it up at the end of the season, but still. Eagles, honestly, I think the Eagles need a giant overhaul of just so many things.
Yeah.
Chargers simply just need to stay healthy. And Steelers, it's time to go back to the drawing board into a rebuild.
Yeah, I agree with some of them. On the Panthers, I would say they do need another strong receiver, because I know they've been using Corker, and I mean obviously McMillan's the number one guy there, but I think another good receiver, maybe a vet receiver, would help them out a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe some offensive line might help Bryce Young a little bit too to give him some time. The Packers, honestly, like if I had to look at them, they need to get some defensive help straight up. Like they need to beef up that line. They need to help Micah. Maybe they go out and get Trey Henderson, or maybe they go out and get another defensive tackle that they just traded away. They might need some more defensive pieces, in my opinion. I do like the receiver though. Matthew Golden's in his first year. So Jaguars is an interesting one. His running backs are, hit or miss. I would say though that they probably need to figure out their receiving scheme, because it was some weeks Brian Thomas Jr., sometimes it was Jacoby Myers.
I think that's perfect.
Then I think they need a better number one. I think both those guys are number twos, in my opinion. I think if they went out and got a Mike Evans, not saying he's leaving, but you go get a number one receiver, it'd be interesting to see what happens.
More well established.
For sure. And then when you're looking at the Eagles, I mean, I think honestly they did what they needed to do, which was get rid of their offensive coordinator, but they need to stop. Maybe Mike McDaniel might make a lot of sense. That's all I'm saying. Like that would make a lot of sense. You have the talent there. If you keep everybody, you don't trade people away, makes a lot of sense. Beef up your line, get younger on defense. And then when you're looking at the Chargers, honestly, draft offensive linemen like you're doing. Do you need to protect Justin Herbert at this point? Maybe get a better receiver. No offense to Ladidi McConkey, but Keenan Allen's getting old. Quentin Johnson is hit or miss.
It's to replace Quentin Johnston. It's not. For,
it's not for McConkey. Well, and Keenan's getting old too, so I think you need to look for a better number one there. Personally, I think Ladidi can be a good 2 or slot guy. And then with the Steelers, I mean, it looks like they're going to be in a complete overhaul. They had Mason Rudolph. I, for some reason, thought Will Howard was going to go out there, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. They have no quarterback. Their team's in shambles. I think we're going to see some rebuilding Steelers. So honestly, at this point, tank and not get caught and hope for the best. Yeah. So these next couple questions are going to be more related to the playoffs, considering the divisional round here that we have going on. So I kind of alluded to this earlier in the show where I said Josh Allen kind of got hurt. So Josh Allen broke his losing streak playing away, which we talked about in the playoffs. So congratulations to him. However, after the game, he was limping. He also suffered a hit to the head. So he has a possible concussion, but I think he's got cleared and he's going to be fine. He twisted his knee and he hurt his hand. A lot of things happened in that game. Yep. Should we be concerned this week when he plays the Broncos in Denver?
100%, because if I'm that defensive coordinator, I'm sending hard pressure.
Yeah.
I'm going to, at the end of the day, we don't want to see anybody hurt, right? This or that. But when it comes to a competitive nature, as we've talked about in previous shows, you're kind of looking for that. Like as a defensive coordinator, if I was a defensive coordinator, we're working on bringing pressure this week. We are going to make him run on that messed up knee. We're going to make sure we're hitting him every time he releases that ball. And we are going to try and re-aggravate these injuries to get him out of the game. Because without Josh Allen, there is no one. Sure, there's James Cook, but then you just continue with the blitzes. And nonetheless, too, when you're continuing with that pressure, what's Josh Allen going to do? He's going to start to panic, and he's going to force those throws, which is where that predicted pick six is going to come from.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think we absolutely need to be concerned. I think if I were the Denver defense, I would probably play man, just because their receivers aren't really anything crazy to look at.
No.
On paper. I'd play man, run a QB spy on Josh Allen, and blitz when possible. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do, put pressure on him, and if he tries to run, have your spy up there looking for him. James Cooks can catch, but he's not exactly known for that. So they're either going to run the ball up the middle or Josh Allen's going to try to escape and run. But if you put that spy on him, I think it's going to be a long night for him. And I can envision him throwing a pick six at some point. So I do agree with you there. Yeah. Next, here's the one where Xavier's like, oh, here comes the delusion. What do the 49ers need to do to beat Seattle this week in Seattle?
To be honest, it's 100% stay healthy. No players can get injured. If they stay healthy, they will have a chance at it. If CMC can get the running game going, that's all you really kind of need. And he will open up everything else. Limit Brock Purdy's throws deep. Keep them short. Keep them middle. More short than mid. Because mid to deep throws, he goes all bad. Yeah. So try and get McCaffrey established. and stay healthy.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, looking at, I have two scenarios. Either A, Fred Warner comes back, which his practice window's open. I don't think it's going to happen this week. As a Niners fan, I would like that to happen because I think that is their best shot. Move Kindress over to the outside linebacker. I think I talked about it already, but I think that would be their ideal for defense because I think this is going to be a very good game. Honestly, I don't think Christian McCaffrey is going to be able to get the run going. He hasn't really done that this season against them. Their front is good. I mean, Seattle's defense in general is good. McCaffrey was very successful last week in catching the ball. It looks like trick plays are going to be the plays that they're probably going to need to do currently with the way that it is with Tonjes, playing and Kittle out. But I mean, honestly, scenario number two, and honestly, the most realistic and most honest, straightforward scenario is that Brock Purdy needs to play better. And I know I come on the show and I give him crap and I have to keep saying it because people are texting me. It's like, look, he's a great guy. I have nothing against him. He's a great man. And I'm not attacking his character. But when it comes to football play, when you're throwing 2 interceptions directly to the other team, that's an issue. You can't do that in the playoffs. And you shouldn't. I mean, I understand because this is the other thing. It's like people are like, well, interceptions happen. Yes, it happens. But when you want to be great and when you want to become a Super Bowl winner, when you want to be a leader on the team, you don't do that. Okay. Like you just need to limit those. If you do it once, hey, it's going to happen. We understand. We get it. But when you're doing it week in and week out on crucial moments, you can't do that. We need the Brock Purdy to come out when he played against the Colts. We need the Brock Purdy that played the Bears. That's the Brock Purdy or Glock Purdy, as they like to call him. That's the Purdy that needs to come out, and he needs to play a great game. Not a good game. He needs to play a great game in order to beat Seattle. Because I think Seattle's defense is just so good that it's going to be tight, but it's almost like this. Like the Niners lost 13-3 in week 18. Basically, if that defense can step up, like obviously if Fred was there, and hold them to 10 points, let's say, and the Niners can score 13 points, 16 points, that's kind of the game that we're looking at. And I think, honestly, that's going to be their only hope is that if Brock can't score points, they are not going to win.
Right.
So
fair enough.
I think that's a fair thing to say. That's not too delusional, in my opinion. I got 2 more for you. What does Houston need to do to get the win? Or is it even possible at this point? I mean, hey, any given Sunday, but they're playing the Patriots this week. And the only comment I had is that the Patriots are looking like a strong Super Bowl favorite this year right now.
I mean, it's the obvious thing is they just got to get their offense going. It's as simple as that. Stroud needs to calm down. He needs to look more relaxed in the pocket. Right now, he looks like he's scared. He's running for his life. If he calms down in the pocket, they start to get marks going a little bit, might help him out a little bit, but at the end of the day, the defense is doing what they need to do. The offense just needs to get it together.
Yeah, honestly, for me, I think Houston's defense just needs to come out what they did against the Steelers and absolutely shut them down. Don't know if they can do it, but they have a shot. They're good. But I think we're going to need a couple defensive scores in order for Houston to be in the game, in my personal opinion.
I agree.
Last one I got for you is the Rams almost lost to the Panthers this past week. Kind of wild. I mean, I know they lost them in the regular season, but I thought it'd be, well, it was looking good. I thought, after the first drive. But did the Rams defense get exposed? Which, I mean, I guess we kind of already talked about that before, but and should the fans be concerned versus the Bears this week?
100% you should be worried 100% that Rams defense 100% did get exposed. I said it every time that Carolina plays really well towards the end of the season, but at the end of the day, you as a team that is a very, very good contender for the Super Bowl should not be letting that happen, like at all.
Yeah.
That's what loses you playoffs 100% because you're one and done. So you cannot have those mistakes. So that defense is 100% on notice. And if I was a Rams fan, I would be scared all the way, even into the Super Bowl. I would be scared. And I would not trust my defense, no matter how good they looked, even if they shut out anybody, even if they shut out whoever.
The Bears.
The Bears, the Niners, or the Seahawks, even if they shut both of those teams out going into the Super Bowl, I am scared. 100%.
It's kind of like the meme that I made where it's like Adam Devine where he's like, I almost died. And that's really how Rams fans are resonating. I've had a lot of Rams fans comment and be like, that was me. That was me. And I will say this. I think the Rams defensive line is great. They have a great young defensive line. That's not the issue here. The issue here is the linebackers and the corners. And mostly it's the corners and the safeties because they're getting burned. So when these teams are deciding to throw it up, like Chicago, it's going to be a high scoring game. It's going to get really interesting. It's going to be very high, a very good game. And you can't do that against Seattle. You can't do that against San Francisco. You can't do that against the Patriots.
And
you're playing a dangerous game there.
Part of their linebacking issue was when they got rid of Ernest Jones. They traded him to the Titans for a low pick.
Yeah.
And then now he's with Seattle and he is doing work. So that's when their middle linebacking problems started happening, and they might not believe it, but when that boy excelled on even the Titans and then is now excelling with Seattle, you made a bad decision.
Yeah, honestly, and I think they can win this week, and I still think they're Super Bowl favorites as far as like the NFC is concerned, for me at least, because I said at the beginning of the season. But at some point, I mean, even like the Bengals, right? Your offense can only score so many points before it's not able to outscore, or somebody else outscores you, and then that's it. You can't rely on Matthew Stafford every week to go into the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left and to come back and win you the game, right? It's just not realistic.
Right.
The odds of it happening week in and week out is probably astronomically low. So, most specifically, Bebel, you're going to be nervous. I will say though, if the game is in LA at SoFi, Niners Rams, we'll be tempted. We'll be tempted. We'll be tempted.
$1 billion tickets.
No, definitely not. All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. That really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And as a reminder, we have our membership program from 99 cents. It's running until February, till Super Bowl, and it's done. You have early access to our episodes, early access to our memes or our shorts, and you also have access to our Discord. Definitely worth it. Definitely check it out. 99 cents a month. Can't beat it. And also, in addition to that, look out for our episode in August for the draft kit for the 2026 fantasy football and NFL season. And also stay tuned for that great debate that will be available exclusively to members firsthand, and then it will be later released to the public. Also, one last thing, don't forget we have our new merch website. Check it out. If you subscribe to our email list, you get 10% off of your entire order. And also, I want to remind everybody again, there is a code in the video, so you need to go find it. There is a code. It's going to be there. I'm not going to tell you where it's going to be at. Don't look in the timestamps because I promise it's not going to be there. It's going to be random. I'm going to find a random spot when I'm doing the editing, and that's where it's going to go. So good luck to everybody. And before I forget, don't forget to follow us on our social media. We got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I mean, you name it. X, we're on it. Not this X. Obviously, I'm talking about Twitter, or what was Twitter.
No, it's on me. I got a tattoo.
And also, we have our website, www.encinas.com, where you can check out everything that's going on in Encinas Unfiltered related. X, thanks for coming on. Everybody, thanks for listening. And until next time, peace.
Later.